back to All Things Jira, and I'm back with another video. Now this video is a little bit different. This is a missing persons case, and this is the missing persons case of Nefertiri Trader. Before I get into it, make sure you like this video, leave a comment, and make sure you subscribe. So this is my second time filming this video. Something happened to with my audio on the first one, so I'm re-recording. If something is going on with the audio for this one, I'm just gonna post it as is because I really do want to get this out. And I'll just have to purchase a new mic for my upcoming videos. But I do want to get this out. We do have a lot of missing African American women, and missing African American women don't really get a lot of coverage, so please share this video, especially to people in the area of Delaware and around there. If you know anything, please contact someone so Nefertiri can be brought home. There are so many missing Black women and they just don't get a lot of coverage. Nefertiri Trader, she is an African-American woman. She was born February 21st, 1981 in Delaware. From what I've seen, Nefertiri was really close to her family. She was really close to her mom. She spoke to her mom every day, sometimes several times a day. And at the time she went missing, she also had a cousin temporarily living with her and her 3 children. Nefertiri's oldest child was a son. He was 17 years old at the time she went missing. Her 2 daughters were younger, but I'm not sure what their ages were at the time. So Nefertiri lived in Newcastle, Delaware. She lived in a subdivision called Saddlebrook, and she lived on Freedom Square. Now in this subdivision, there's only one way in and one way out, and all the homes are connected. On June 29th of 2014, Nefertiri took her cousin to work. And I believe the cousin that was living with her, I believe his name was William. So she took her cousin to work sometime that evening. I'm not sure what time it was. In the early morning hours of June 30th, 2014, they say around 4 a.m., Nefertiri went to her local 7-Eleven to pick up a few things. Now, I'm not sure whether she drove to the 7-Eleven or whether she walked. The store was only a half a mile from her house. It's just not clear on whether she drove or whether she walked. There is footage of her in the 7-Eleven. She purchased 2 cups of coffee, a loaf of bread, and a pack of cigarettes. But her car wasn't seen in that video. The video was only, I believe, from the inside of the store. So, like I said, I'm not sure whether she walked to the store or whether she drove, but I will say I walk to our local 7-Eleven pretty often, but if I was purchasing 2 cups of coffee, I wouldn't walk. So I would say it's more than likely that she drove. It is a little awkward to carry a bag of items plus 2 cups of coffee and, walk half a mile to your house. So personally, if that were me, I would have drove. So I'm just going to assume that she drove to the store. This 7-Eleven is, like I said, about a half a mile from her house, and it's on Route 273. So, when she went to the store, she left her 17-year-old son and one of her daughters at home. Now, she went back home and she made it to her front porch, but she never made it inside the house. Now, later on that day, Nefertiri's mother tried to contact her several times. Like I said, they normally speak every day, sometimes a few times a day, but she couldn't get a hold of her. She wasn't getting a call back. She wasn't getting any text back, so she started to get worried. Nefertiri had been out of work on medical leave for some type of procedure, so her mom wasn't sure if maybe she decided to go back to work earlier than she had planned. Nefertiri hadn't said anything to her about this, so her mom she wasn't sure. So she sent her cousin to the house to check on Nefertiri to make sure nothing was wrong. So she sent a cousin to the house to check on the situation. When the cousin got there, they noticed a loaf of bread in the yard that looked like it had been stepped on. There were 2 cups of coffee on the porch, Nefertiri's flip-flops, the pack of cigarettes that Nefertiri purchased, and an unopened condom. Now, Nefertiri did not purchase condoms when she went to that 7-Eleven. Now, upon seeing this, the cousin was alarmed. It looked like there had definitely been some type of struggle or something that went on, seeing the loaf of bread in the yard and it had been stepped on. So Nefertiri's cousin called her mom Denise back to let her know what was going on. They called the police, and they also started to call family members that went around the neighborhood asking the neighbors if they had seen or heard anything. And of course the police did this as well. Now, Nefertiri's son, the 17-year-old, he stated that he did hear a noise around 4 o'clock. This noise woke him up, so he went down the stairs to see if there was anything wrong, but he didn't see anything. He didn't see anyone in the living room. He didn't hear any more noise, so he wasn't sure if he was just hearing things or maybe he was half asleep. So he went back upstairs and went to sleep. Now, with the family and the police going around talking to the neighbors, one neighbor stated that around 4 a.m. he was woken up by a scream. He said he woke up, he looked out the window, and he saw a man in a black hoodie and tan shorts dragging Nefertiri to her car and putting her in the back seat. He said he went down the stairs, I guess to maybe fully check on what was going on, and by the time he got down the stairs, the car was gone, Nefertiri and this man were all gone. Now, the neighbor did not call the police. He said he wasn't sure if Nefertiri was hurt or sick, and this person was just taking her to the hospital, so he did not call the police. Now, the neighbor's story actually changes a few times, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few moments. But this is what he said initially when the family and the police spoke to him. Now, as I said before, Nefertiri had been out sick on medical leave, or she had been out on medical leave, so maybe this is why the neighbor thought that, this person was taking her to the hospital. I'm not sure. A Verizon store had some cameras outside, and they caught Nefertiri's car driving by around 4 something that morning. Now, I couldn't find out whether they could see who was driving or whether they could see Nefertiri in the car, but they did spot the car driving by. But this is the last time Nefertiri or her car has been seen. And this is kind of odd because normally in these situations when someone is missing and their car is missing, usually the car is found at some point. So initially, when I heard that Nefertiri had purchased 2 cups of coffee at the store, I was wondering if maybe she had someone at the house and she purchased the second cup of coffee for that person, or maybe she was expecting someone to come over and that was why she purchased the second cup. But Denise, Nefertiri's mom, she stated when she was talking to the people from the Vanish podcast that Nefertiri's younger daughter liked coffee. So Nefertiri would also she would commonly buy a second cup of coffee to have with her daughter in the morning. So Nefertiri's mom is pretty sure this is why she purchased that second cup of coffee. She doesn't think that there was anyone at the house or that Nefertiri had expected anyone to come over. So back to Nefertiri's neighbor. They've slammed him on social media because he's told he's changed his story a few times. Initially, he said that he heard a scream and that was what woke him up. Another time he said the porch light came on and that was what woke him up. He's also said that he saw someone hit Nefertiri on the back of the head and then put her in the car, but that kind of contradicts his initial statement of saying that he didn't call the police because he thought Nefertiri may have been sick or hurt and that was why they were putting her in the car. He's also said that he didn't call the police because Nefertiri always had some type of chaos or drama going on in her apartment. And he thought whatever was happening that night was just their normal thing, and that was why he didn't call the police. And he's also started to spread rumors that Nefertiri was selling drugs out of her apartment. So Nefertiri's mom, she denies all of these accusations that Nefertiri had drama going on in her apartment or that she sold drugs. She stated that Nefertiri has 3 children that she was taking care of. She had a good job and she worked. She had no reason to sell drugs. Denise also thinks that the neighbor is trying to hide something, or maybe he knows more than what he's saying, and that's why he's changing up his story so often. She's also heard that neighbors that lived closer to her than this particular neighbor saw and heard things that morning, but they aren't willing to tell the police. Now, the Newcastle police have gotten the FBI in on this case as well, and they all believe the same thing, that the neighbors know more than what they're saying. They're just not willing to speak to police or really anyone about what really happened that night. Now, it had been said that Nefertiri's cell phone had been turned on and then turned off again sometime later that summer. This wasn't confirmed by the police, so at this point it's just a rumor. I'd heard that the family thought that the phone was turned on and people started to talk about it, and maybe this is what led whoever took Nefertiri to turn the phone back off. But again, this was not confirmed by police, so I'm not sure if this is true or not. So on March 28th, 2017, the police announced that they presumed that Nefertiri is dead. They have not stated what evidence led them to presume this. Typically, about 5 years or more from the time someone missing is when they presume that they are dead. So because this happened within 3 years of her being missing, there must be some type of evidence that led them to this presumption, but they haven't stated what that is. And I know a lot of times they don't state these things because they want to keep the evidence secure. They want to make sure they can get a conviction when they find the person that did this. So maybe that's why they're not saying what it is, but they did presume within 3 years that they believe Nefertiri is dead. Denise Trader, she doesn't care what the police says. She believes that Nefertiri is alive and she's being held captive somewhere. She is she is looking forward to her daughter being found and being brought back home so they can all be together again. Denise stated she'll never give up hope and she will never stop looking for her daughter. And it seems as though Denise doesn't have a really good relationship with the police. In this case, it doesn't seem like a lot of information is being passed back and forth. Denise doesn't feel like that they're looking hard enough or that they're doing enough to find Nefertiri. And it may be because, like I said, the police do hold a lot of information back. They don't release a lot of things. They don't tell the family or the public about every piece of evidence that they find or every lead that they're following. So this may be why Denise doesn't know a lot about, why they presume Nefertiri dead. Now, Nefertiri's car is a silver 2000 Acura RL. The car has Delaware plates. The license plate number is 404893. And I'm going to leave the phone number for the Newcastle Police Department contact, the FBI contact, and the link for missing persons or Crime Stoppers. There is a $30,000 reward for any information leading to Nefertiri's whereabouts. So just to give you some of the vitals on Nefertiri, again, her name is Nefertiri Trader. She's an African-American woman. She was born February 21st, 1981. She was 33 at the time of her disappearance. She has brown hair and brown eyes. She's about 5'6", and at the time that she went missing, she was about 125 pounds. Nefertiri has a scar on her left leg. I'm not sure where on her leg she has the scar. It was also said that she has 3 tattoos, one on her chest, one on her right arm, and one on her back. If I can find pictures or a description of the tattoos, I'll add those when I edit, but at this point I could not find that. There honestly aren't that many theories. Some think that maybe someone followed her home from the 7-Eleven and kidnapped her. Some people think that maybe it's someone in the subdivision that took her, put her in her car and took her somewhere, and then maybe they got the bus or got a ride back. Some people think that the neighbor has something to do with it. There aren't very many theories or leads on what happened to Nefertiri because nothing has been found since 2014. And again, there is a $30,000 reward. So if you know anything about the whereabouts of Nefertiri or who may have done this, please contact the Newcastle Police Department or the FBI. Nefertiri does have 3 children, so it would be nice for her family to get her back or to even just to find out what happened to her and get some closure. So unfortunately, that is all I have for this video. There is not a lot of information on her case. So this is all I've seen at this point. If I find out anything else, I'll do an update and either post it in another video on Instagram or somewhere like that. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you leave a comment, and please share it so the information about Nefertiri can get out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.